Здравствуйте. Добрый день. It is ya David Spletnikov here with an exciting Olympic preview edition of As the Blade Turns. Well, my lovelies, choreographer and coach of the group of Team Tutberidze, Daniil Gleikhengauz, and Director General of the Russian Figure Skating Federation, the greatest figure skating federation on earth, Alexander Kogan, tested positive for the coronavirus. It is reported by RBC Sport, citing sources in the Figure Skating Federation and the Russian Olympic Committee. These are disloyal bitches. Gleikhengauz and Kogan passed the test the day before. It showed a positive result. The disease is asymptomatic, the source said. Director General of the Russian Figure Skating Federation, Alexander Kogan, denied information about positive tests for coronavirus, and him and choreographer Danny G. We're fine, Kogan said. They must fly with Gleikhengauz together with the team. No one is safe from a false positive test, Kogan is quoted as saying by Match TV. Earlier, RBC Sport, citing sources in the FFKR, reported that Kogan and Gleikhengauz, who works in the group of Team Tutberidze, passed these positive tests. I don't know where the information came from. I'm surprised by it. I recently spoke with the leadership of the federation. Everything was in order. Well, one of these days, Kogan and Gleikhengauz should fly through Krasnoyarsk for the training camp of the national team. Press attaché of the FFKR, Olga Yermolina, was quoted as saying. Now, my lovelies, it is important to note that Team Tutberidze, the greatest coach in all of Russia, a country too strong for coronavirus, she came to the United States. She is vaccinated. Not all of the girls from Team Tutberidze are vaccinated. Some are, some are not. It is believed that Anna Sherbakova is vaccinated. She is an angel, very smart girl, very sophisticated family. Valyeva and Trusova are not. Trusova did fly to the United States not once but twice for competitions and could have been vaccinated. But her father is a boxer, and well, he cannot be put in the same wash cycle as the Sherbakova family. They are more lay flat to dry. In my mind, getting through this Chinese COVID protocol is like getting through the pearly gates. We are all waiting for the video of Danny G's arrival with St. Peter. While we don't wish COVID on any athlete, the idea that Daniil could have COVID is simply intriguing. Now the Russians have done everything possible to prepare to win. They have studied every technique. They have worked every girl to the breaking point of her bones. They have made sure every girl has had just 2 pieces of shrimp. They likely have every drug set to the allowed levels, every judge bought, every deal made, and perhaps they have even drilled the mouse holes in the doping laboratory to allow urine to be swapped. And yet they are letting a coach with possible coronavirus fly to Beijing on the same flight with recycled air as girls who are most important to the Russian sports machine and state propaganda. Earlier this week, Nikita Katsalapov posted a picture on Instagram and made it seem like it was a novel idea that athletes in a training bubble for Olympics would wear masks and use hand sanitizer. For 2 years, the rest of the world has done this, and we have watched all of the Russians parade around without masks at every national competition. At their own Olympic trials, there was not a mask to be seen, as the rest of the world hunkered down in preparation for the Omicron variant. You see, Russia has told us that masks are weak. Russians do not get COVID. While some would find that attitude arrogant, laughable, or as having a lot of fucking nerve, we here at the skating lesson think it is simply on brand for Russia. Earlier this week, several sports and political figures were outraged in the Russian press after learning that Ukrainian Olympians were being advised not to take photos with Russian athletes. Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to invade the country of Ukraine at any moment. But to Russians, this is against the Olympic Charter. And you see, we have to appreciate this Russian logic in the propagandistic press. Swapping out drugged up urine through mouse holes in the doping laboratory in the middle of the night is acceptable. Influencing and buying off judges is acceptable. Refusing to take photos with an athlete from a country that is about to invade your own, that is simply a step too far. It was pointed out by at least one figure that Ukraine doesn't really have any good figure skaters anyway. Mother Russia enjoys boasting its supremacy, but they seem to forget where Tatiana Voloshyzhar and Tatiana Navka, the wife of Dmitry Peskov, Putin's press secretary and chief propagandist, are actually from. Perhaps the most important figure in skating, Alla Shahovskaya, wife of Valentin Pesev and the number one judge for deals, corruption, politics, and Russian result, is recovering from the coronavirus and will not be traveling to Beijing. Luckily, as we saw in meddling, we can have intermediaries, attachés, who can help, influence weak-willed women who will go on to become Reiki healers and take the fall for far stronger personalities. But really, if Russia does take over Ukraine, there will be one less judge on the panel. And certain figures like Yuri Belkov and the toe-tapping pair judge from Helsinki really need to be applauded and appreciated for their years of doing the most. No one would dare suspend Allah anyway. Now also, David Spletnikov does not wish hospitalization or serious illness on anyone. But the idea of Danny G having a slight cough and a red nose like Rudolph does make me smile just a little. Earlier this week, Mikhail Kolyada tested positive for COVID before flying to the training camp in Krasnoyarsk, and he has been replaced by Evgeny Semenenko. President of the Russian Figure Skating Federation, Alexander Gorshkov, said Mikhail Kolyada tested positive with coronavirus, so we urgently had to replace him with Evgeny Semenenko. Coach Alexei Mishin responded that the prerogative and the right to announce the national team for the Olympics belongs to the Federation and the Russian Olympic Committee. That's all I can say. Personal coaches are not entitled to comment on the decisions of the Olympic Committee and the Russian Figure Skating Federation. Has Kolyada's injury worsened? No comment. It did seem from Mishin that it was the decision of the Russian Olympic Committee that Kolyada would not be able to restore to maximum form for Olympics, even if he could go for the individual event. For Tatiana Trusova, it was very simple. This is not a replacement, but a necessary measure. Kolyada got sick. It's good we have someone to replace him. Nobody has lost anything. This year, Misha does not shine. It is necessary to understand what Misha's health is like. In any case, it is a pity that we will not see Kolyada at the Olympic Games. Luck ends sooner or later. And I wish Semenenko good luck. We will cheer for him. And David Spletnikov appreciates that this woman is spoken about as being on her deathbed every other week, and yet she still has the strength and energy to be a bitch and point out that this year, Misha Kolyada does not shine. Natalia Besmianova was slightly nicer. Of course, this is a big loss for the team. Prospects for Semenenko? If he skates clean, he'll be in a fine place. But he hasn't skated clean lately. God bless him, and good luck. You just killed me with this news. I thought that Kolyada was preparing and would be all fine. I feel very sorry for him. Kolyada has tested positive for coronavirus. Athletes have been filling a health diary for 2 weeks before leaving for China. Now when it became known about the positive test, Mikhail will not be able to go there. It's a pity. This is very sad news. But let's hope that Semenenko will get it together and skate with dignity. Evgeny was lucky. This is his chance. Another coach from the headquarters of Alexei Mishin also tested positive for coronavirus before going to Krasnoyarsk. This is Yegor Sheloshkin, as Match TV reported. Sheloshkin is enjoined in the general physical training of the athletes in the Mishin group. Also this week, it became known about positive tests for COVID-19 by Igor Bazin, who performs in ice dancing with Elizaveta Hodabdieva, and the Paris coach Denis Samokin. All three were at the training camp in Krasnoyarsk. You know, Sport Express discussed the past and upcoming competitions with two-time European champion and two-time bronze medalist of the World Championship in pair skating, Alexander Smirnov. Smirnov is not only one of the outstanding Russian figure skaters in pairs, but also a consultant in the group of Tamara Moskvina. So his opinion on the situation of the Russian team before the Olympics is very valuable. Moreover, he rarely gives interviews, but he did talk about the coronavirus and gave a very interesting quote. Someone asked, "Daily PCR tests, is it too much?" Yes, you know, I love asking a Russian athlete if PCR tests are too much, as they really can understand epidemiology. Alexander Smirnov said, "I agree, and everyone knows that they can be different. Elon Musk passed PCR in different laboratories a year ago, and everywhere the result was different. Will it be a manipulation tool?" Alexander Smirnov, "Da. And I hope that bad people will not take advantage of it and frame our team. I worry about this more than the results of our skaters. I am confident in them. I met them at the show after Russian Nationals. They are motivated. They want to work, not even wearing mask stops. But these tests, which can simply ban an athlete from competing. As in the case with Nikolai Majorov, I know his brother Sasha well. It is such a pity for them. But the Swedes are long-lived. They will come. We will also cheer for them. But what is certain is that no matter how scary we are, we can be held in this way." You know, today, another 29 people who flew to the Beijing Olympics tested positive for coronavirus. 19 of them are members of national teams. Another 10 are people associated with the Olympics. In total, 1,418 people have arrived in Beijing for the Olympics as of January 28. Also, 7 people, not with national teams, passed positive tests during daily testing at the Olympic bubble. Now, we did learn one piece of good news for Mother Russia. The Russian referee will be in charge at the ice dancing competition at the 2022 Olympic team event in Beijing, when Victoria Sinitsina and Nikita Ketselapov are likely to compete against the teams of Marie-France. Initially, the Russian judges were not entered into the team tournament, but received a place in the dance competition after the Japanese judge withdrew due to COVID. The team competition in Beijing will be held from the 4th to the 7th of February. For us, this is like a mouse guarding the cheese. Отлично! Well, now also, 1994 Olympic figure skating champion Alexei Urmanov shared his opinion that Yuri Hanyu will not become Olympic champion for the 3rd time in a row, but Nathan Chen may also be left without a gold medal. According to him, the greatest do not always manage to get to the top of the podium at Olympics. He understood mistakes made by Alexei Mishin before Olympics in Salt Lake City, and he recently recalled a dialogue between Dennis Ten and Frank Carroll during their first days together. Now, Yelena Vaitsekhovskaya, great journalist and sometimes bitch, said, "As someone who once pushed the levels of difficulty, do you understand the desire of two-time Olympic champion Yuri Hanyu to jump the quad axel at all costs, risking to get a serious injury and missing the Olympics altogether? Is he crazy, or is there a great idea in this?" No, please note, Yelena Vaitsekhovskaya knows how to ask questions to get great answers. She did not ask if it is strategically good for Hanyu. She said no, she focused on injury and whether or not it is a crazy idea. Alexei responded, "Probably every highest level sports person is a little crazy. Zhenya Plushenko, if you remember, dreamed of doing all 5 quad jumps in one program. But this did not happen. I don't think it happened with Yuzur either. But let's put it this way. If the guy is crazy about this jump, okay, let him go and try." Mishin, by the way, was once asked if he thinks it's too early to start learning triple axel or quad jump at the age of 13. To which he replied, "Listen, my friends, if the boy wants, and I see that he is ready, why stop him?" when Mishin, whom the entire figure skating world does not accidentally call the professor, undertook the training of Mikhail Kolyada, many believed that Alexei Nikolaevich, like a magician, would touch Kolyada with a magic wand and he would stop popping the jumps. But it didn't happen. I'm trying to figure out why. You know, Yelena Vaisakhovskaya is Olympic champion. She understands mindset of athletes and coaches better than anyone. But she also knows how to ask a good, stupid question for a great answer. Because for her, this question very strategic, and she is leading Alexei Urmanov to great response. Alexei, I am quite an adult person, and I do not believe in coaching magic. As a rule, some kind of visible transformation happens with an athlete only at the initial stage of work with a new coach, and then everything returns to usual. A person either works or he doesn't. Either he has the psychological resistance or he does not. It seems to me that many athletes also sincerely believe that the result should be made by the coach and not by themselves. Alexei, I will tell you one story, a very cool one in my opinion, although sad, because it is connected with deceased Dennis Ten. When Dennis came to Frank Carroll, a well-known specialist, and went to the first practice, Carroll was sitting at the board, reading the newspaper. Then goes to the ice, comes up to the coach and says, "Hello, what should I do?" Carroll puts the newspaper aside and answers, "My dear, I want to ask you, what do you consider it necessary to work on? It's you who changed the coach. It's you who want to get something from me. So explain, what is it?" I think it's very cool. It is not the coach who should make the result. He can only help. That's all. Well, Yelena said, "Once I asked you to make a prediction before the World Championships, and you guessed the names of all the winners. If I ask you now to do the same before Olympics, will you?" Alexei Urmanov, "Я не знаю if it makes sense to write about it now. Everything is too shaky and vague. Besides, I'm not a fan of predictions. But intuitively, it seems to me that Hanyu will not become Olympic champion for the third time." Yelena, will he lose to Nathan Chen? Alexei, I generally say that some unexpected person, on whom no one is betting now, can become Olympic champion. Yelena, like Yuma Kageyama. Alexei, maybe. Personally, I would like to see Shoma Una on the Olympic podium. He, it seems to me, finally made friends with his head. There is another guy who can shoot. This is Vincent Zhou. All three are from the category of from those who are commonly called dark horses. You know, like that song by Katy Perry. Why do you have doubts about Chen's chances? Can you explain? Still, for quite a long time, Nathan won every competition in which he participated. He won the last World Championships with a colossal advantage, breaking away from Hanyu by more than 30 points. Alexei Urmanov, do you remember what happened to him at the Pyeongchang Olympics? Certainly. I think he will always remember his 17th place in the short program. I even remembered how your older colleague, Valentin Nikolaev, explained that such things are so firmly stuck in the athlete's head that it becomes impossible not to think about it at the time of the performance, especially when an Olympic gold medal is at stake. Alexa, that's exactly what I meant. I can only repeat what we talked about at the beginning of the conversation. Even the greatest champions do not always manage to win the Olympics. Although Nathan, like no other, deserves to be on the podium. Well, Yelena had one other telling question for Alexei Urmanov, a perhaps forgotten champion of the Olympic Games. Perhaps it is true that at the Lillehammer Olympics, the best did not win. What do you think? How is Eliza Tuktemisheva doing in terms of motivation? She missed her Olympics for a third time. Is it a tragedy for her? Alexei, sensitive Russian. This is absolutely not a tragedy. In this life, understanding comes through comparison. it is much more tragic for some athlete who is the favorite to win the Olympic Games to come there and perform disastrously, taking the 10th place instead of the first. This, in my opinion, is a greater tragedy than simply not going. Well, she did not go, but she did everything possible to get onto the team. It happens. In other news, Wang Feng of China has been rewarded for her years of good service by being named as the women's technical controller after being suspended for cheating in 2018. Let the games and deal making begin. For I won. I'm here for the messiness. Baka.